Hello, this is Sprocket314, and today I bring you some Keyforge variants. We're gonna have a look at different ways of playing Keyforge using the same old decks that you have been using, and hopefully you find these variants fun to play with, and they're completely informal. This is nothing to do with anything official, but they're quite good fun. Okay, cool. So let's get right into it. So I was thinking about all these problems that we have with people saying Shadows is too powerful, um, all these special one-time kill decks and everything. And then I was in my holiday and I was thinking, how can we solve this problem? Is there a way of doing this without banning cards or nerfing cards? So okay, so this is the first variant, the banning variant. Okay, so this is the brutal one. This is the one that probably I would never play, but if you guys want to give it a go, feel free. So number one is the banning variant. Okay, so at the beginning of the game, you are going to choose one of the houses that the opponent has, and the opponent has to remove entirely that house from the deck. So decks will be extremely small, right? They will become 24 card decks. Um, then this removes entirely the problem with no shadows or no logos or no untamed ever. It would be completely, you know, problem solved, no? But this variant, to be honest, I don't really recommend it. I think the process, yes, you get rid of all these powerful combos and powerful houses, it would play very quickly, right? You could do other type of combos where you can play your entire hand pretty much every turn. And the but I think it comes with lots of cons, right? So lots of bad things. I think the game would be far too quick. You will be able to play too many cards. It's a bit like a crazy variant. The game would lose its soul. I don't think this is a great variant. Okay, so how can we improve from this? So we have the variant number two, which is the permanent curse variant. So at the beginning of the game, what you're gonna do is you're gonna choose again a house, and this is a house you're gonna be cursing, and then the opponent cannot play any card from that house ever again from the rest of the game. However, that house is going to still be in the deck and it's going to be clogging the opponent's hand. The only way of getting rid of these cards that are going to be clogging their hand is by choosing or calling that house and discarding all those cards from their hand. This is quite interesting way of putting things because you have to, how often would you call the house? How often would you say, I'm on this turn, I'm going to sacrifice myself and I'm going to say, yes, shadows. And then I'm going to discard maybe five of my cards in my hand because I already have five shadows cards. So it is quite tactical. You have to really think, is this turn the right turn for me to get rid of my shadows cards? So this is quite a puzzle, like a mental puzzle. It's quite interesting just to try it out and see, how interesting it is, and if if you're a very clever guy, you might win against a more powerful deck by choosing the timing of when to discard your cursed cards. So yeah, in this the pros would be no shadows ever, right? Because you curse shadows and then they can never play shadows or logos or whatever it is, right? You play faster than usual, um, mainly because you have less choices to do. The only additional complexity is you really have to think about when to discard your cards. The game loses some of its soul because you only play with two houses instead of three, but it is better than the banning variant. Let's go to the next one. The next one is the Purging Curse. So it's the Purging Curse variant, and in this one is exactly the same as the cursing one, the permanent curse. Uh, but the idea is that when you call the curse house, you purge those cards. So basically now it's a different dynamic. Now you can choose shadows, and you have maybe a hand of five, and then they leave the game, they get purged, they won't come back into your deck. So you can then gain speed by calling those houses, those cursed houses, and getting rid, purging all those. Your deck becomes uh, slimmer, and then you can start cycling and being faster again. So I think the pros is, yes, again, you will lose shadows, or you will lose the logos or whatever curse house that the opponent chooses. Um, but the good thing is that it would be in between the banning and the permanent curse variant. I think it would be quite quick, quicker and quicker, to be honest, right? But it won't be as quick as the banning one, because you're playing with less uh, less amount of cards, but it wouldn't be as slow as clogging your hand, and get all the braining. Now, still you have meaningful decisions to make on when to purge. Do you do it every 3 turns or so, or do you do it only when you have your entire full handful of cards? And cons, yes, still loses some of its soul, because you are only having two houses instead of three, but it is still also it's faster than the permanent curse one. So that could be good, that could be bad. I think that it's quite an interesting one. I think maybe it's even more interesting than the permanent curse one. Let's have a look at something else. Let's have a look something a little bit similar, but let's see. So this one is the variant number 4, is the single curse variant. So this is basically, you still put a curse on a house, but then the limitation is that you can only play one card of that house, of the curse house. You could only play one, but you can still use or activate any creatures or artifacts that you have already on your board. Um, so you can slowly but steadily build up your shadows or whatever curse house that you have. Um, but you still get to use some of those cards, no? Once every time you call it. Is this good enough or not? You kill the infinite draw library access combo, right? Because you would only be able to call logos, and then you will play library access, and then you're going to play any other card. So basically, you're killing library access, for example. You would kill powerful combos that rely on multiple interactions of cards, uh, like, I don't know, yes, like a library access, for example, no? And then the game still loses some of its soul. It loses less than before, because you still can play the three houses, but still you kill all the powerful combos. That's maybe something that is not attractive enough for you, but still a variant that some people might find useful. And then you have the next one, which is the single purge. So single purge variant, you're going to be doing exactly the same, but every time the card from a house that is cursed leaves play, it gets purged instead. Everything else remains the same as the normal rules. You still kill the infinite library access, because you can only ever, play one card um, from your hand, from the curse house. It kills powerful combos, which is a good and a bad thing. And this is probably not one of my. The good thing is you gain in speed, no? So it's maybe a little bit better than variant number 4, which is the single curse variant. Um, but still, I would like to draw the attention to the next 3 variants, which I found quite fun. So the next one is one of my favorites, which is the burning variant. The burning variant is a similar approach. So what you do is you choose a house from your opponent, and that's going to be a house that's going to be burning. So that means that you can play as many cards from that burning house as you like, but when you play them, when those cards leave play, they get purged instead. So it's a little bit like annihilation ritual, which is a very powerful this artifact, but with every single card, even action cards. And so this kills the infinite recursion. So this might be considered like the solution to um, library access. Mm, It doesn't really kill it. Yes, you will be able to do one full loop, but then you cannot recurse because you cannot reuse the cards that go to your discard pile because there's no discard pile. Uh, as- you could only reuse the ones. There would be a discard pile, but it would be from the non-burning houses. So this is like a compromise. It balances power. It's fun. This one is fun. You have a burning house. You have some card that you need to really think. Is this the turn where I should play all my burning cards? You really, really have to plan ahead your moves. Um, and it might kill some powerful combos that were relying on recursion or in cycling to your deck. So this is one of the things that is quite interesting. I think this one is for you to try, just for fun. And then there is obviously the other variant, which is the self-burning variant, which is basically instead of choosing one for your opponent, you have to choose one of your own houses to burn. So you get a choice of which ones, where are we going to take the handicap. And obviously, you will take the house that's the weakest in your deck. But still, it makes it very interesting because if they're going to be purged, maybe you can remove all the crap cards that you have in your deck. If you have a very good two houses in your deck and you have the third one that's not so good and it's clogging your hand and it's not very good, then you can choose that as your burning house. Make it a strategic decision and then get rid of them forever and only have the sweet, sweet cards that you like from your other two houses. So this makes also good old decks that you have played many times before exciting again. You can play it again. It's fun. It's fun. This is very interesting. You are in control of which ones you are burning. You are in control of which ones you are playing. And you cannot discard a card from the burning house because it will get every time it leaves play, basically it gets purged. So they will leave, they will get purged. You won't have, they will never touch the discard pile. These cards. But some cons. Well, you really have to plan ahead. This is something good to me. I like to plan ahead. It makes me feel more clever if something goes wrong, and more upset if these things go wrong. So yes, then you need to handle risk. When to burn those cards. If they're very good, and it might kill powerful combos. It might make new powerful combos by slimming down your deck. So this is my second last variant that I'm gonna show you, and then it's the final one, which you might find interesting, which is the swapping house variant. So for swapping houses, only the house, not your deck. What you're doing is a little bit like reversal, where basically you will choose from your opponent's deck which house you want to snatch out of their deck, and the opponent will do the same with your deck. So you have to simultaneously choose which house you're gonna snatch from your opponent, and so you might have. This might lead to some surprises, right? You might have something in plan, some nice synergies to do. Do you want to be aggressive or defensive? Do you think your opponent will choose, can you outguess your opponent? What are they going to choose? How many new synergies are you going to be creating? So this is something that it would be a little bit annoying if because probably you will have to use sleeves and you will have to unsleeve the cards from your opponent and then put your own sleeves on them. Otherwise, it's not going to work because you're going to know this is a card. You're going to have some special information knowing that the next card is going to be one from your opponent's house. So I think this one can be a bit more annoying because you have to unsleeve and re-sleeve cards. But I think it's still fun. You will be balancing play. You might kill powerful combos. You might create new combos, and you also won't know as a com. You will not know your deck inside out anymore because you have an extra new house. And another pro is it would be that you have a brand new deck. you are creating a new deck with new exciting combinations, so you can still keep rediscovering decks and ways to play. Still, I think my favorite variant is the burning variant. I think burning one is or self burning. Those two variants are very fun. I think you should give it a go. And this was it for today. And if you like it, please like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. You can click on the little bell to get notification every time I produce a new video. And I would like to thank you for watching. And this was Sprocket 314. Thank you very much.